Hey kids who are watching this, I'll be explaining to you guys what depression is. Now, I'm putting this in simpler terms for the kids who are watching this, so yeah. I might not get every single detail, so yeah. Okay, anyway, depression is a mental disorder. A mental disorder or a mental illness is something that it isn't properly working in your brain, and it causes your brain to have depression, and that is what depression is. There are other mental disorders, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're talking about depression. Now, the reason depression happens is if your brain cannot produce enough serotonin or dopamine. Serotonin and dopamine are called endorphins. They're chemicals that allow you to be happy and feel pleasure. When your brain can't produce that, then you don't really feel as happy. And your brain can still produce it, even if you have depression. It just doesn't produce enough of it. And it only produces it temporarily. So, here's something else. There are symptoms of depression. Here are some of the symptoms. You feel sad or lonely or just nothing. You feel like it's mainly feeling sad and hopeless. You feel like that all the time. Another thing, you start to get less sleep than you usually do. Food doesn't feel appealing to you anymore. Like you're not as hungry anymore, or you're very hungry. Your appetite changes. Appetite is something that you're craving for food. So if you have a low appetite, that means you're not that hungry, and you're not as hungry as normal. But if you have a high appetite, that means you're very hungry a lot of the time. Also, you may have angry outbursts. This is kind of common, kind of not. You get mad at your parents, and this is normal for kids, but when it gets to the point where you're always grumpy and irritable means you're easy to irritate, you're easy to make mad. So someone can make you mad easily, and that's what irritability means. You may also feel like you don't like yourself. You may feel like you don't like the way you look, or you don't like your personality. That's very common when somebody has depression. They feel like they don't have worth, and they feel like a bad person. Also, when a person has depression, the things that used to interest them or the things that used to be fun aren't fun anymore. Say you like drawing, and before you have depression, you love drawing and stuff, but after you have depression, drawing doesn't give you enough pleasure anymore. You don't have that happiness aspect that you get from drawing that you used to. People with depression can also have low self-esteem and low confidence. Now, low self-esteem means you don't put enough value on yourself, and you don't feel like you're a valuable or worthwhile person. Having low confidence is that you're not as assertive, or you're a little more timid, kind of, and I don't want to say shy, but that can be part of it. Here are some of the thoughts that a person with depression can have. 1, they might think they're not good enough. They might think they're not pretty enough, or they're not smart enough, and it's a sad thought to think that you're not good enough, but just know that you are good enough no matter what other people say. Another thing that people with depression might think is it's not going to get better. But here's the thing, it will get better. And there's not really a way to feel miserable forever. You might have some low points, but you're also going to get some high points too, and you might feel better sometimes. Or it might be only temporary, but you will have points that you feel better than others. People with depression might also experience fatigue, which means they're slower than they usually do. Whether it's getting dressed, taking showers, everyday life, they do it slower than they usually do. Also, this is very common in children with depression. You might feel your grades dropping, or you won't do as better in school as you used to, And schoolwork can be more like you might not be able to do homework as much as you used to, or you might procrastinate, which means you put things for a later time and don't do them when you're supposed to do them. Also, you might feel like you're not doing well in school and you're failing your tests and you're not passing classes and your grades are going down and you just feel like you're not doing in school as well as you used to. Now here's how to combat depression, especially in kids. So this video is made for kids, so I am basically going to say things and explain things that are more simpler, like coping skills. Now guys, coping skills is something you do to make your depression less, you feel less depression and or anxiety, but we'll get to that in another video another time. But when you feel sad, do something that you love or you used to love, and when you do more of that, it makes you more happy and it releases the happy chemicals in your brain. They're called endorphins. They make the more of those chemicals you have, the happier you are, and it just makes more of those chemicals, just like going outside for a walk, playing with a pet, or exercising, or talking or hanging out with friends. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed my video on depression explained for kids. See y'all later!